We're going to get started with the Versalino platform. These are the components that you will need in order to program the Versalino. First of all, the Versalino itself. The Versalino has no ability to plug in directly to your computer for it to be programmed. So you will need an FTDI breakout board. These can be bought from SparkFun or other resellers. They cost about $15. It has a 6-pin female header that plugs into 6 pins in a row on this portion of the Versalino. You also will need the USB cable itself, which plugs into the breakout board like so. As you can see here, here's the 6-pin female header. There's only one way this plugs into the Versalino, like so. I won't plug it in. You'll also need any sort of LED. LEDs have a positive and a negative side. Electrode, you have to plug them in the right way. The flat side of the bulb itself is the negative electrode. The longer electrode is the positive. The negative will be plugged into the ground. The positive will be plugged into any one of the I/O pins. There's a ground on this I/O strip here. There's one over here. This happens to be bus B, as you see, which is a mirror image of bus A. We'll take note of that later when we're programming the Versalino in the coding language. The next thing we need to do, after you get all this hardware, or before, you just won't be able to do anything with your programming until you get the hardware necessary, is go to the Arduino website and download the 1.0 version of the IDE for your particular operating system. Then you can go to the VirtuaBotics website, download the Versalino library for the Arduino IDE. Once you've downloaded that compressed file, you'll need to decompress it wherever it happens to be downloaded. I'll show you that. We've downloaded the Arduino program. Here are the various folders in it. We are going to want to end up with the Versalino library in this folder. We'll go back to the downloads here and we'll see if the Versalino library was downloaded. Here it is. If I expand it, unzip it rather, I've done this before, so it has a pre-existing file, you'll get something that looks like this. This is the folder that needs to be placed in the libraries folder of the Arduino IDE. Simply copy, go back to the Arduino folders, locate libraries. Oh, it's already there. I've done it before, so we're going to pretend that it hasn't been done before and that it wasn't pre-existing there. So I'll just paste the Versalino folder that I copied after the Versalino compressed file was decompressed. This is exactly what it should look like. All these folders look the same. It should be Versalino period. If I double click on it, you'll see there are 3 files. This happens to be an H file. It's an include file. It will have to be included as such in every Versalino sketch, so that these the programs within the Arduino environment will be able to recognize the Versalino, since the pin configurations are different. That's what's specified in this H file. Now a little bit more about the hardware. I'll just plug it in. We'll get ready for our programming of the Versalino. Plugging in the FTDI chip, it only goes in one way. Incidentally, the Versalino gets its power. There are 2 options. One from the USB cable plugged into either your laptop or desktop, or in the event that you've already programmed the Versalino and want to use it in some external device like a robot, for example, that can't be plugged into a laptop, once the Versalino is programmed through this hardware, this can be removed, but then the Versalino will need to be powered in some other way. So you use the DC adapter. The center pin of the adapter is positive. Don't forget that. There happens to be a reset pin here, which I haven't used. Don't feel the need for it right now. Again, all these various pin designations will be mentioned in your Arduino sketches. This I&O strip is really a mirror image of this. There are grounds on each end, we'll proceed with attaching the FTDI breakout board bought from SparkFun. Next, we will insert a LED. The shorter electrode is the ground, and it's also the ground or cathode of the LED is flat. Not sure we can see it. But anyway, the flat portion of the electrode is the ground or cathode. The long electrode is positive. Think long paws of a flat black cat. I have to have a mnemonic, otherwise we'll always forget this. So now our LED is ready to go. Maybe you can see the flat portion of the anode, which is the flat black cat ground side of the LED. Alright, next we will plug this into the laptop I have sitting next to me. I'm going to plug this into the laptop and you will hear the Windows sound of approval as it's detecting the device as an Arduino Uno, which we will shortly see in the Arduino IDE. As soon as I can get this focused. One moment. Locating the Arduino IDE in the download folder. The libraries folder within the Arduino IDE is where we want this to ultimately end up. It's not supposed to be there yet to simulate an actual transfer of it to the Arduino libraries folder. If I go back to my downloads folder and show you that after we downloaded it from the Versalino, from the VirtuaBotics website, yes, here it is. If I double click that, we can expand it. I've already been here, so this is what the Versalino library is supposed to look like, that we want to copy and paste into the libraries folder of the Arduino IDE. If we have a look at this, we'll see there's a file called the versalino.h file. It's an include file that has all the pin configuration information that enables Arduino sketches to run on the Versalino. Cross compatibility is enabled, in other words. Now if we go back to the IDE itself, you'll see what is the actual application execution program, arduino.exec. We'll double click on that. It'll open up the IDE itself, and you'll see the typical sketch routine. We've gone to Blink. I found Blink by going to examples, basics, Blink. So here we are. Now if you look at this sketch, you'll see that it doesn't begin with an include file. So we need to import the Versalino library. If we go down here, we will see indeed that it does exist in the libraries folder of the Arduino IDE. So we'll click on it, and lo and behold, we've included the Versalino.h file that is critical for the Versalino to be seen as an Arduino. It's basically a translation program. Now, the Arduino Uno and all the Arduinos have an LED pin on on pin 13 built into it. The Versalino does not have this. So we will change this 13 to BUSB dot P1, all in capitals. What this will do is this indicates the pin on the Arduino, or excuse me, the Versalino board, that it's bus B and pin P1. In this setup portion of the program, it's designating that pin as an output pin. In other words, the Versalino will output voltage to that pin to fire up the LED when it is commanded to do so in the void loop. So as we digital write to, no, not pin 13, we want bus B dot P1. It will digital write to P1 on bus B, making the LED light up as it goes high. It will stay high, it will stay lit for 1,000 milliseconds, delaying for 1,000 milliseconds until once again it digital writes to bus B dot P1, making that pin low, shutting the LED off. Waits for 1,000 milliseconds and then goes back to turning the pin high and turning it low, turning it high, ad infinitum. Therefore, this is called the Blink program. So I think we're ready to go to execute this program. The next thing that happens is we will compile this code to make sure there are no syntax errors, and the Arduino IDE accepts it. So we click on the right arrow. As we see down at the bottom, it's compiling. Now it's uploading to the device itself, and I will show you shortly what occurs down on the Versalino board after it's done uploading. Now have a look down here on the SparkFun FTDI breakout board, and you'll see, if you look carefully, TX-RX, this is transmit and receive. There are two LEDs associated with this. Once we upload the program from the laptop through the FDE down to the Versalino, we'll see these lights flashing as the code is loaded into the Versalino. Once that occurs, then shortly thereafter we'll see the LED start to blink every second on and off. So I'm not going to show you the screen here, but once again I'm going to upload the code to the Versalino. And as it uploads, well, maybe try that again. Let's see. Alright, I'm about to upload to the Versalino. We're compiling, uploading, done uploading. Program is executing. You've just seen the Blink program work on your Versalino. There's nowhere to go but up from here, or onward. There may be other videos from Polymath. Thank you very much.